Hi, everybody. Yeah, I had an exciting week, you noticed, right? Well, I'll tell you, I feel a whole lot better now. Actually, I feel more my age. I don't walk around like I'm 90 years old anymore. I'm walking around like a normal 50-something-year-old, and it's wonderful. I went to the mall, and I went to Walmart, and I came home, and I could still walk. I mean, yeah, it really helps me. I go through that every 3 months. I have that done. It really makes a difference. And when it starts to wear off, oh, you know, I spend the last month just counting the days until I can have it done again. It's a painful thing, um, but it sure does help. Oh, but anyway, I'm feeling better. Thank you for all the well wishes, you guys. I appreciate it. One thing else I wanted to touch on is that a couple years ago, when I started my channel, Jerry Jones helped me. I had a phone, a smartphone, just a smartphone, and he suggested I start a channel, and I could not understand how can a person upload a video onto YouTube from a phone. I mean, technology slipped me by. I was busy working my whole life, and I lost track of computers and what they do. And I mean, it amazes me everything they can get into this little thing, all the things that it can do, all the places you can go. I mean, it's amazing. But I remember when he helped me start my channel up and test it to make sure that the videos were uploading, and showed me how to do all that. And I remember calling him up and saying, "Oh, I got 20 subscribers." I couldn't believe that 20 people wanted to listen to my silly life story, and I was just so thrilled. I was like, 20 people, wow, And now I'm running shy of 400, like 380 something, a little over 380, and what a humbling thing that is. I mean, there are XJWs out here that have had channels for several years, and they're, got thousands and thousands of subscribers, and everybody watches their channels, and that's pretty cool. But I'm just so happy with the ones that choose to listen to me, and thank each and every one of you. It's real humbling to me that people actually want to hear what I have to say. But my lighting is a little off. Sorry about that. I'm not a fancy channel, so you're gonna get used to that. But there's a couple of things I want to talk about. There's somebody put up a video this morning, or earlier this afternoon, something like that, and they were talking about how XJWs get along with each other, and how they have disagreements about this and that, and I pretty much think that that's to be expected, because generally, as people, as humans relating to other humans, not everybody gets along, and sometimes there'll be differences. But the way I see it is that there are so many different ways that people go about being an activist for the same reason others are activists. But there's so many different ways that people go about doing that, just like there's many different people that we're trying to reach, different sort of people. So I may not be able to reach some people, but another person would be able to reach that person. So I think personally it's a good thing that there's lots of different ways to go about being an activist for the same reason everyone else is. Some of them I don't always agree with, they come out a little strong for my likes, but that's okay, because some people don't need to listen to someone talk. Some people need to be shook and say, hey, you gotta hear this. You gotta understand. They don't understand how important it is for them to know these things. The Jehovah's Witnesses are just taught to shut themselves off. Another video I saw earlier today, someone talking about their parents, and their parents were still in, and they've been out for a while, and the hardships and the trials that come up because of shunning. I was shunned from 1982 until my last one of my parents died in 2010. So, 32 years, I think, something like that, of being shunned by both or one, after, one died and then the other. But my kids growing up without grandparents and having, grandparents that they can talk to and go do things with, it's real hard, different aspects of it. But my 36 years out of the organization, I've gotten past those feelings of hurt and anger and all that. You have to realize that they're adult people, and they are entitled to live their life the way they want to. And I appreciated my parents not getting in my business, so I stayed out of theirs. There are regrets that I have. Like, I really wished before they died that I was strong enough in my viewpoints to actually converse with them about how I felt about different things. I wish I could have explained to them what the organization was doing to its members and how they were being lied to and misled. I wish I could have talked to them more about that. And personally, my opinion is I should have written them more letters and phoned them more often, and let them actually see what it was doing. The people out here, ex-JWs, that act like they're so mad at other JWs, referring to them as terrible people, and I've heard them call people, active JWs, names and stuff. I don't really agree with that, because it's like all of us ex-JWs were faithful, indoctrinated JWs, some more so than others, but we were all that way. When they gave a talk from the podium and declared somebody was disfellowshipped for doing something that unbecoming of a Christian, or however they give that little speech thing, we all turned our backs on those people because they told us to. We all did. We shunned them people. Some of us said hello to them or talked to them and stuff, but for the most part, we did the same shunning as the way we're being treated now. We did the same thing to other people. We didn't know why they were disfellowshipped, or if it was a valid reason or not. I mean, we just took their word for it. They said, do it, we did it. We all followed along in that. I mean, but you grow past that. When you wake up, then you feel guilty for doing that to people, and you feel bad that you did that for people. Because once you find out what it's like and walk in those shoes, you know the story, man. It's a hurtful, mean, unchristian thing to do to people. And when people fall down, that's when they need encouragement and help the most. They don't need to be turned away and treated as if they're dead. That's when they need help. And that's what drives so many people over the edge to do crazy, insane things like suicide and violence and things like that, is because they're just pushed too far. It's too hard, and it's, you're not getting what you need. And the Watchtower organization okays that and looks at it as a loving provision from God. Come on, people. we go through that. We've been there. We've done that. Is it? No, it's not. It's not. When you're dealing with, see, and that's another thing. My channel's my channel. I I I I want to love people. I don't. I think the world is much too full of hate to spend my life hating people or disliking people. Um, I've almost died a couple of times in my life. You've heard my story, and I'll tell you, um, the best thing we can do to prove the organization wrong is to show Jehovah's Witnesses, current Jehovah's Witnesses, that people on the outside are not as the organization portrays them to be. You guys are wonderful. I mean, I have met such wonderful, kind, honest, God-loving, Jesus-loving people in the the XJW community. I've met such wonderful people, really nice people that really come to this community to get the encouragement and the love that they really need, because they're not getting it from the ones that just started treating them like they're dead, right? So they're coming out here to be around people. They still have families in there, and many of the XJWs in this community have families and friends that they care about on the inside. And I don't think it's right to be speaking badly about them. Who gets called out of the organization and who wakes up, that part is up to God, I guess, who wakes up, in my opinion. Jesus will call them out. Some people hear the voice of the shepherd calling and decide that they need to be somewhere other than they are. You know what I mean? And they need love and encouragement and uplifting. They don't need to be torn down any more than they are. I mean, Watchtower damages people. They don't need any more hurt. And some people say I'm too nice, but being nice and being honest gets you in a lot of trouble sometimes, but that's just the way I am. I do not believe in talking bad about Jehovah's Witnesses when I know that they are blind and they are lied to and manipulated and misled, and they're in a terrible spot, and I just can't talk bad about them. I can't. And when I hear people say, those Jehovah's Witnesses make me so mad, well, the situation might make you mad. How blind they are might make you mad, or something like that, but don't be mad at them. We've all shunned people when the organization told us to. We've all done things that we feel badly about today. Every so often I go through Facebook and the internet and stuff, and I do a search on some of the people that I used to know in there, seeing if I can find out where they are, what they're doing, things like that. Spread a little truth to them or something, but don't find too many of them in where I come from. I can't find very many of them. I did find one, and thank God that person is waking up. That person knew a lot about what's going on, and I was so grateful for that. There is hope for them. There's hope for each and every one of them in there. If they've been in there 40, 50 years, there's still hope for them. Don't give up on them, but love them. We understand how it is. We understand how we discovered the things we're lacking when we got out of there. We know how psychologically and emotionally and socially stunted we were when we got out from being in that environment for so long. And one of the newly out people that I've talked to knows that it's really important to form some friendships with people on the outside, so that when you have decent, caring, loving friends on the outside, you won't be forced to go back thinking that that's the only place you're going to find it. Because a lot of that is a false love on the inside, but on the outside, where people really understand, that's where you find the true encouragement and love that you don't get from the inside of the tower, you know. Things have been happening to where it looks like the organization is going down the tubes. Unrelentless put up the Unrelentant put up a video about the financial status of one of the congregations where he's situated at, and if you look at the paperwork and see the totals of the numbers and realize that they are really feeling the hurt financially, that organization. The people that are waking up are not donating money to the organization. They might help keep the congregation afloat, but they're not sending money to New York anymore. You know, they don't feel it's right. They don't think that they should have to pay court settlement money and all of that. They're really waking up to that. But the organization itself is making the congregations suffer. The congregations are going to fold up. I think we're going to see a lot more of congregations folding up and disappearing and getting sold. And I would say that the organization itself is just a few years from financial collapse itself as far as a corporation is concerned, because the paperwork, you know, you look at the totals that they have for their, you know, for their year, and it's not looking good. It doesn't look good for them. And it seems like they're going down the tubes, and I bet you within the next 4 years we're going to see something really drastic happen. But it could be sooner, because things were going really slow. I remember a few years ago when I first got out here on the internet and looking at the YouTube channels and stuff. If you went into a search on Google or something and were searching Watchtower or Jehovah's Witnesses, or however you want to look it up, what would come up was their website and all that would pop up, right? Not anymore. You do a search and all you see is a bunch of links to why you shouldn't be at JW sites and videos on YouTube, you know, and stuff like that. It's really swamped even the search engines down, you know, as far as finding the JW stuff. I mean, the people on YouTube and the internet and all that have just flooded the internet with all kinds of information about the organization and what they're doing wrongly to people and children and all that. They're being swamped. They're actually, you know, media's picking it up. They're making shows. You know, you saw Elizabeth Vargas show. You saw W5. I mean, these people are getting the word out also, educating the public as far as why to stay away from that organization is really important, because it's a lot easier to get people from not joining than it is to get them out once they're in. It's really a battle to get those ones that are in out. But my whole thing is, be nice to them. You know, each and every one of us were just like they are, fully indoctrinated, standing up for the organization and did what we were told. And we did that without wondering why. We just did it because we were told. I mean, come on, people. We were blind too. So when you meet a JW that doesn't react or doesn't respond or something like that, don't badger them, please. Don't call them names. The biggest thing you can do is to tell them that there's a lot of people out here that love you and support you. If you choose to leave, we'll help you. You won't be on your own. You won't be alone. Because that's one of the biggest fears when I got out, and also other people, that a lot of people give up their families and every friend they ever knew in their entire life. And they lose everything. Sometimes their jobs. I mean, people are losing their kids, you know, to these things. I mean, it's terrible. So they need a lot of love and support. You got to remind them that we're out here to steer them in the right direction, to guide them toward the help that they need. And like I said, if you're newly out, even if you've been out for a while, if you run up against a brick wall, there's something preventing you from going on and feeling the freedom that you should, get some therapy. Going to a therapist and working past those points to be able to survive in the real world does a lot of good. I went twice to therapy for 2 different reasons, because I got hung up on things that I needed to get past and wasn't sure how to do it because I didn't have that kind of worldly experience, you know. I didn't know which direction to go. And therapy really helped. They were really kind about it, and they really helped me get past those things. And don't be afraid to get help if you need it. Everybody needs help. That's why there's other people on this planet, is because not everybody can do life on their own by themselves without help. I think that's basically impossible. Anyway, you need help to do things. So if you need the help, be proud that you got the help. Really, I'm serious. You know, don't be afraid to call somebody up and say, hey, I need help. I'm having a hard time here. Call up friends, therapists, suicide hotlines if you have to. You know, do that. Because each and every one of us is important. We're all needed. There's always a reason for us being here, because you, as well as me and all the rest of us, are going to have someone come up to us one day and say, man, I left and I stayed out, and it was because of something you said or something that you did that really made a difference. We are, all of us, in one way or the other, the answer to someone else's prayer. Somebody's asking for that help. You are the one that's going to be able to provide it because of what you're going through, what you're learning, what you're experiencing, and what you know. You know, so stick with it. Get yourself a good group of support and stick with it. Life outside the tower is wonderful. Life is what you make it, you know. And let's just help get more of those people out of there. And they have to know that they're wrong. That Watchtower is telling them that we hate them, and it's wrong. It's not true. All of us have friends and family in there. Everybody has JW people in there, in the organization that we care about and wonder about and love. So let's treat them like that. That's all I gotta say. You know, be nice to each other. You know, life is too short to be angry with people. I'll talk to you later.